So today we're going to be doing an alignment on this 2010 Mazda 6 with 48,000 miles on it. We have a John Bean snap-on equipment Visualiner alignment machine. We're gonna drive it up on the lift, get it all set up. Now that we're on the lift, we want to make sure we're centered on the front turntables, both ways. Looks good there. We'll flip the lift to put the air pressure so we can lift it up. That's the sound of the air going to the hydraulic tanks. We're going to chock the left rear tire. The car is left in neutral. Now the tires are chocked. We'll raise the vehicle. Once it's raised to a height we can walk under it, we will stop. I take a little PB blaster, pick it up, I go under the car, little dark under here, and I spray the tie rods. And I come back out from under it, and I put down the working height legs for the lift. While I'm doing this, I walk around the rear of the car. If there's any cams for adjusting the rear toe and camber, I spray them down. But as of looking right now, there is no adjustment on the rear of this car. So I walk around to the driver's side, put the legs down. Go back over to the lift controls. Lower the lift back down onto the legs. I flip the lever back so I can raise the lift when I'm ready. Now I go and I put the targets on each wheel. I'll show you the first one. I set the top of the target on the top of the wheel. I screw it up until it hits the rim. Turn it tight. Make sure it's tight. Give the target a good pull. Make sure it's on there. You see. Now I got to go around and do this to each tire. I'll be back in a minute. So now I keep a piece of paper with 3 lines on it, like this, at the alignment machine. I write the mileage down, the year of the car, and then the license plate number. I usually do this as soon as I get out of the car from driving it on the lift. So then, after all my 4 targets are put on the car, I go to the alignment machine, I hit OK, I hit OK again. For this one, you'd either put in the person's last name, or this is for a company, I put in the company name. And I fill in the license plate number and the mileage. Then I hit OK. Then we know it's a Mazda, so we scroll down till we find Mazda. Double click on Mazda. Said it was a 2010, double click on that, and it's a Mazda 6. So we find Mazda 6, all types, double click, hit OK. I'll bring you up to the spec screen. Hit OK again. The targets are waiting to acquire. When they acquire, you hear the beeping sound and you see the arrows. Now, like I said, the car is left in neutral. So I walk over to the rear of the car, remove the tire chock, roll it backwards until the screen, see, zoom in on the screen for you. Until the screen tells you to stop. You'll also hear it. Alright, right there. You hold it until you hear that beep. You push it all the way forward. What I do is I leave the tire chock in place. Then I just roll it forward until I hit the tire wheel chock. The screen will beep again. If it makes that sound, that's telling you you might have a loose tie rod. At this point, you would jack up the front of the car and check it out. Then you would hit, then it would come to this screen showing you you're all green. Hit OK. This is the alignment specs of the rear. Hit OK. I hit OK again, and I go around and I pull out the 4 pins, 2 on each side. I'm going to go do the other side and I'll be right back. Alright, so now that we have the pins removed on both sides of the front turntables, and I went around and I made sure each tire had the right amount of air pressure. You need to do that also. I'm going to get in the car, start it up. I'm on the screen for the front alignment specs. The car was left in neutral. So I get in, my foot on the brake, put it in park. Turn the key and start the car. I go and I jiggle the steering wheel and then slowly stop jiggling it until it's centered. And then I look at the alignment specs, and I can see that it's off. So now I will shut the car off, making sure the steering wheel is straight. Shut it off. The alignment machine comes with these tools. Take my brake depressor rod, insert it on the brake, and the other end on the seat. Locking it in place. The other one is a steering wheel lock. I put that under the steering wheel in the seat, press down, it's spring loaded, let it rise back up on the steering wheel. It holds it in place, making sure the steering wheel is still centered. Shut the door. Go back over to the machine, and on the keyboard I hit the minus button, which will change the screen to camera view. I go over to the lift controls, raise the lift up to a good working height. A good working height, I stop and let the air out of the lift. Come back over to the machine. Using the up and down arrows, I raise the cameras up until the cameras are centered in the middle of the screens. Come back down if I have to. Then I hit OK or enter. The alignment machine is on wheels, so I roll it over, back, until I am centered with the machine, and leave it in place. You can see the needles are green. On toe, 10 is dead center, -5 and +25 is the range. The driver's side is perfect, nearly perfect. The passenger side is out a little bit. So I'm going to go over, get a light and the wrenches I need, and I'll be right back. So on a 2010 Mazda 6, you need a 21mm and a 13mm wrench for the tie rod adjustment. Got a light under here, and I will show you. You can see the tie rod. Let's see if I can do this. I'm going to take my 21mm wrench and break free the jam nut. My 21mm wrench and the jam nut. Take a bar, put a bar on my wrench so I have more leverage, and back it off. Now I need a 13mm to go on the inner tie rod. Free up the jam nut on the outer tie rod. Or should I say, on the inner tie rod. So I'm going to look at the screen while I'm doing this, and loosening the inner tie rod is the direction I want to go to get the toe back into spec. So while I'm making this adjustment, I keep an eye on that screen. And unfortunately, I can't show you that. What I do, as I go past where I need to, when I'm making the adjustment, and then I bring it back into spec, I find this helps center and give you an accurate reading. Whereas if you don't do this step, you go back up and recenter the steering wheel and check, a lot of the times your alignment's still off. So if you go past where you need to and then turn back, it seems like it centers it a lot better and your reading is more accurate. So then I tighten back up the jam nut, keeping an eye on the alignment specs because sometimes it moves when you're tightening the jam nut. So both sides are +5, which is right where we need to go. So now we will lower the car on the lift back down. I move my alignment machine back off to the driver's side, so when I am in the car, I can keep an eye on the alignment specs. Hit the negative sign, lower the camera until your targets are centered in the screen. Hit OK or enter. And this brings you back to the adjustment screen for the front. I go back in the car, start it up, readjust the steering wheel, and I double check the alignment specs. I go back over to my alignment machine, go up to the left hand, top left hand, and click on the printer. Wait for the print screen to come up. Then I click on OK and it prints off the alignment specs. While I'm waiting for that, I put the alignment machine back where I leave it, centered under the cameras. Raise the lift up just enough so I can slide my legs back up on the lift. Dump the air out of the lift. If I can get my pins back in the turntables, I pin it. Remove the targets, starting with the front, and I put that in the bottom. Kick up each leg. When I'm done with that, I'll be right back. When I put the targets back, I make sure I put the smaller one on the bottom so there's more space between the two, so you're not hitting the targets on each other. That way, you should not have to replace them. At this point, when it's all printed, I go back, bring my mouse up to the top left hand, and hit on the home button. And that brings me back home. So next time I need to do an alignment, it's ready to go. I find that if you do the trick when you're adjusting the tie rods on the front, if you overcompensate and then bring it back, I have really good luck with doing an alignment. I might, and I say might, get one alignment back out of 20, and that would be pushing it. With this machine, I have really good luck, and with the technique I just showed you, I cannot complain. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you. Thank you.